Hi class, Happy New Year. I promised some of you guys that I would show you my shop, and I also started to do a couple lesson plans for math, and I see that we're doing understanding fractions now. And I had a project that I'm doing here. And it would kind of fits in with the lesson I'm looking to show you. I always tell you how important reading and math is in your school, and I know Jasmine, she's transferred to the other class, but she would always say, why do we have to learn this? Well, why? Well, we're never going to use it. Well, I'm going to show you when you have certain jobs to do where fractions are extremely important. One of the jobs that you might do is make shelving or put stuff on walls, and you need things equally spaced. To do that, you're going to have to use fractions. In your text, you'll see that fractions are numbers that describe the division of a whole into separate parts. And that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take these 6 plates and I want to hang them on this wall. These are my parents' plates, and I kind of just want to keep to remember them by and put them on my wall. I want to make sure they're all the same height here and then all equally spaced out so it looks nice. To do that, I have to use fractions. And I'm going to show you how I go about that. If you look at the definition of fractions here, fractions are numbers that describe the division of a whole. All right? So right now, the whole is my whole wall length here. If I measure this whole length here, it comes out to about 86 inches. I'm going to keep it, it's about 86 and a half, but I'm going to use 86 inches. So my hole is 86 inches. I always like to use a diagram when I work with math. I have kind of a word problem doing a lot of different things, so I'm going to break it down. I'm going to draw a rough diagram of my wall. Okay. And I'm going to put it into roughly 6 pieces. And when I say roughly, I mean approximately, because this is just a diagram, it's not exact. All right? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have this whole divided into 6 equal pieces. So I have to label the whole. The whole is 86 inches again. And now, how do I get 6 equal parts into 86? Well, if you look here, fraction is a division of a whole into equal parts. So I'm going to use division to divide the whole into 6 equal parts. So I'm going to take 6 into 86. Okay? And follow me on the math. 6 into 8, 1. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract. 8 minus 6 is 2. Bring down the 6. 6 into 26 goes 4 times. 6 times 4 is 24. So 4. 4 times 6 is 24. Bring down 2's left. I don't have anything to bring down, so I'm going to put some ghost zeros in. Put my decimal here. Bring down a 0. 6 into 20. 6, 12, 18 goes 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18. 2 left over. I'm going to bring down another 0. I'm getting 20 again. So 6 into 20 again is 3 times 18, 2. I see now that I'm going to have a repeating decimal, 14.333. So now all of my parts now are 14.33 inches. 14.33, 14.33, 14.33, 4.33. That's the biggest part of my math now. Now, I have 6 plates. Do I put the plates on the lines? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be 7. It's not going to work. What I'm going to do now is put a plate in the middle of each section. So that means I'm going to want a plate here, 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 and here. So now I have to divide each section, which is 14.33, by 2. To get half of something, to put it right in the middle, I have to divide it by 2. So now I'm going to take 2 into this whole piece. The whole now is 14, and I want 2 sections to make it equal. 2 into 14.33. 2 into 14 is 2. I'm sorry, 7. Let me just getting ahead of myself. 2 into 14 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 0. Drop down 1, 3. So I have it here. And 2 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 2 is 2. 1. Drop the 3. 2 goes into 13 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. 1. It's probably going to. So I have 7.16. This 6 is a very small number. On my calculations here, I'm going to round this 7.16 to 7. So I have 7 inches now. Here. So now I know this is 7 inches, 7 inches, 7 inches, 7 inches, 7 inches, and so on down the line. So I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to measure 7 inches down on the wall. And I already know that I want each plate about 1.5 inches down from the ceiling. That's just how I like it. I just need it high up to go above that board. So each plate is going to be 1.5 inches up and down. So I set my square. Again, I have to work with fractions. If you look at here, this is 1 inch. This is 1.5 inches. This is 2. So I'm going to set my square to 1.5 inches. Here. So I'm going to measure 7 inches across, which is here, where my first plate is going to go. So we said 7 inches. But I want it to be 1.5 inches down. So I'm going to go here, and right in that corner is my first plate. And I have my little mark there. Now, you can come over here real quick. I don't want to get too long here. Most walls are hollow. You have 2x4s here and little plaster here. Problem is, I'm going into soft stuff here. I'm not lucky enough to screw right into here. So I have to use special little inserts to go into this soft hollow over here. To do that, I have to take a drill. And again, look at my fractions here. The 16th, 1/8, 9/16. So I'm going to take, say, a 9/16 drill. I'll try to go quick for you guys so you're not doing this all day. Okay. So I have to use little anchors here, okay? And you'll see why in a second. So I'm going to put my drill here, make my first plate. See, it's all hollow in there. Very soft pieces here. So I'm going to put my anchor in. Okay, I drilled my first hole, and then that was 7 inches there. So now I'm going to mark my second one. This is 7 inches, and I put a mark here. A little darker. And then here, I'm going to put on 7 inches. That's my another plate here. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, gotta be careful. Look here. Almost made a mistake. There's a famous phrase: measure twice, cut once. From the wall to the first picture here, the hair is 7 inches. Now to the next picture, I have to take 7 inches here and add another 7 inches to the middle here. I hope you can see that. So now I have to get, the next plate is going to be 14 inches. Here. All right. So from the edge of the wall it's 7, then there's 14 here, and I'll continue here. So now I'm looking at 14 inches. Here. And then another 14 inches here. So I started out, my measurements were correct there. when I went to actually do the work, I took different measurements, but it didn't make sense. If each plate was this far apart, I'd end up my plates would end up over here. So I had to rethink and look at my calculations. So I have one here, 14 inches, another 14 inches. Okay, put 14 there. Here's another 14 inches. Another 14. Hopefully that's about 5 plates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then here's another 14. And then I should have a leftover 7 inches near the end about, which I do. All right. So I'm going to. Now, when you use drills and things like that, you want to have something eye protection. Here. So I'm going to drill all my holes now. Oops, sorry about that. And now I'm going to put the anchors in. Okay. And my last one, I put it up here. Now I have these little eyelet hooks here. This is hooks and eyes. Gaucho e amela. The Spanish people know. Now the problem is these eyelets here are not going to hook into the plate here. There's no way to hook into it. So I've got to take these here, and I'm going to turn these eyelets into hooks. This is a metal, this is called a band saw. It's a metal band that goes around and around and around. And it's like this, so I have to be very careful. So now I'm going to take this eye hook, this eyelet screw, and make it into a hook. So I'm going to take this here, I got to be very careful. And now I have a hook. So I need 6 of these. I need 6 of these, so I'm going to my 6 hooks, and I'm going to screw them into the anchors. Let's see. Take one of my plates. And that's my first plate. Okay, I'll shut this off now. I'll cut it for a while. Put all the plates up. You tell me if they're all spaced out evenly. Thank you. Okay, screwing the eye hook into the last anchor here. Okay. And now we'll start hanging the rest of the plates. Okay, I'm a little nervous. I hope it all works out. Let's see. But I trust my math here. I drew my diagram, had all my fractions laid out here. The hole was 86 inches. I divided it 6 equal parts, and then divided each equal part to center it. So I'm confident with my math. Let's see if it all works out. And if you haven't noticed, this is up from our American Revolution, Washington crossing the Delaware, the signing of the independence here. This is General Cornwallis from the British surrendering at Saratoga? I'm not sure. It's the surrender of Cornwallis to John Trumbull. I think it was in Virginia, but I don't recall. And this one here. And my last plate. Now this, I'm going to have to move this a little bit to get it to fit. And then I'm going to put this back. Okay. So, if you look, let's take a look back here. Does that look even? Well, looks certainly even enough to me. Okay, there's a lot of other things that you do. Certainly to work in a shop like this, you have to know math. You can't even begin to work on these tools if you don't know math. I know Dulce's dad works in construction. He probably uses some of these tools. He has to use measurements and things like that. If you come over here, if you ever wonder where I get my computer parts and everything to set up the computers, this is all my section here of parts, cables, anything I need to fix, plumbing, everything like that. I needed to get fractions here. I had a whole list of shelves and I wanted them to be even, you know, the length I needed here. Here, for example, all even. And you use fractions to do that. So if you have any questions on if fractions are important, don't. You're going to use them in everyday life. If you want a profession working with tools and things like that, it's especially important on that. So I just want to recap here. I couldn't have done any of that, the shelves in there, if I didn't use my math and my fractions and my calculations here. I didn't use any calculators. It was all by hand using our measurements here. Okay, I hope I didn't go too long. Thank you.
Hold on.
Now, I hope some girls go into using tools and machines and everything, because it's a great career. But I know this may be more guy stuff, but let me show you how I use fractions where the girls might kind of apply it to. Follow me. This is a shelving unit that I made downstairs because my wife does a lot of cooking, and she told me exactly like 7.5 inches for this shelf, 8.5, and I had to divide into the whole part to section it up, and that again was all fractions. If I didn't measure right here the right fractions, like 7.5 and 7.5, it would have been up not level. So trust me, and I hope you see that you use fractions in your everyday life. Thank you.